Last night's podcast with Alexyss K.Tylor was very good and very informational. But it was very difficult for me as a survivor of the same. It was difficult for me to listen to it, of course. I wish I could have heard it better, but I was in the car, and a car full of people, and it's hard to text and try to listen at the same time, and there's music going. Anyway. I just look at these situations with compassion. It would be easy to judge a person because of where they come from, but a person isn't their environment. That's just what they were brought up around. I think Alexyss was very brave for sharing how she is, her truth, because she is telling truth, and I could relate and grew up with a lot of the same stuff. So truth recognized truth. But I also know targeting. I know how targeting works. Once truth speakers start talking, it becomes an issue to a lot of people, because a lot of people don't want to be outed. Like with me, my goal isn't the entertainment side of it. I'm not a soothsayer that's holding on to old ways. And then those people wonder why they still have demonic activity in their life. If you're still reading cards, if you're still operating with the spirits, you are still attached. That cable tow is still attached to you. Let it go. So I can't do like she did with going on the talk shows and share my testimony like that for several reasons. One, I know the Masonic setup. I could see it. See, there's chessboard. They use people as pawns and rooks and devils and crooks. But, I operate above that. So I think that for her it's great because she was deeper into it. And interestingly, I know some of the people she knows, but anyway, my story and my goal is to share the healing process and the deliverance, not to focus on the entertainment of who the elites are, who did what type of abuse, how the rituals take place. I want the healing side of it. I went through those abuses. And rapes, molestations, all that stuff from family members, high up people, and other stuff. But my goal is on the healing. It was hard listening to her when she was talking about the rituals and the death rituals, because I've survived a lot of. She meant it when she said that they would like to rip your guts out. And I've had, as a survivor myself of ritual abuse, I look at her and I think she's so brave to speak out, but I also know operations. I know how the CIA and the different organizations work. You've heard me talk about them a lot of times, the different military operations and psyops. Thanks to the FIOA, you could look this stuff up. But we all know that the CIA and everyone is in on it with the news crew and the entertainment people. So stuff you're seeing on casts, don't think it's not already pre-planned too. What do you think a podcast is? You're still casting a spell if you're not paying attention. I don't want to cast any spells. I don't want to be a part of anything that's not natural. Now, my mother is a practitioner of the arts. I do know hermetics and the occult quite well, demonology and so forth. Those are areas I know. And in these end times, I'm glad I do, because the Lord has shown me as a prophet, as a real prophet, not as a soothsayer, but as a prophet, that I'm glad that the Lord has brought me through, kept me safe, and delivered me of all these Masonic programmings. I grew up very close to Bohemian Grove. So sometimes I laugh when people say that I don't know what I'm talking about, when I'm like, I've seen these people face to face. I've survived it myself. Yet you're going to tell me? Okay. Okay. But then I have to remember to have compassion, because they don't know. They don't know. I don't think people generally intentionally mean to harm people. It's that they just get caught up in their own emotions, in their own world, and they project it. I'm so sorry for my old ways. I'm so repentant for how I used to be. Because I used to be vain. I used to be, my old stage name was Lady Casanova, Cassiopeia, which is the constellation shaped as a W, a lazy W. Tahuti has done breakdowns on what that W. Anyway, my goal is just on finding my authentic self. My goal is to get out of the programming and be able to share with people a bit of my testimony, because I know there are other people who are going through it. And I'm kind of like a bridge. I kind of can see that now, because I can see the Masonic side. I can see the other side. I can see, as a person in between, I take no part of any of these rituals on this earth. Anything that's not a God, I just don't want it, So I'm just trying to focus on the healing, the growth, and then build friendships, build true, strong friendships and alliances with people. Because here's something that happens with people often who have suffered ritual abuse, which I'm one of, is we have a very, very hard time making and keeping friends, because we're fearful. We'll have a PTSD moment, and we will think that that person means to harm us, when in reality they don't. But because they can't see inside the person's mind, and they don't know if that person is healed from the traumas that they have gone through, it could be difficult. Like sometimes you have friends who have a shit ton of different personalities, per se. Now, I'm not saying bipolar, I'm not saying schizophrenic, I'm not saying like Sybil, multiple personalities. That's another extreme with DID. But you see people below that becoming characters. They mold themselves to the people around them. Oh, I want to be like this person. Like you see people following, oh gosh, it's just so upsetting. People like Meg the Stallion for some reason. And they can't see the MK Monarch programming. And what they're doing is mimicking the same stuff. They're participating in a ritual and they don't even know it. See, the whole world is being brought into a whole reverse Masonic initiation. But most people are too blind to see it. See, I'm glad I'm saved through Jesus' blood, or I'd be in trouble. So I'm lucky that all blood pacts and oaths and bindings and things that are broken off my life. There are no familial ties. I have no connections to any of that. God saved me. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Thank you. Because here's the thing with these Masons and these rituals, is these death rituals. They do have certain days that they do them around. Like the equinox is coming up, June 21st, longest day of the year. The next equinox is September 23rd, which is the end of the ritual for the Masonic riding of the goat. Now, if you look at the alignment in the sky right now, you look where the sun and the moon is, you will see that it is in Taurus the bull, Aldebaran. Aldebaran is the death ritual, the bullseye, the goat. People don't know what they're participating in. A lot of these music things that you're repeating, and it's like a mantra to you. You sing songs not knowing you're casting spells. You're watching TV shows and you don't know you're being hypnotized. It's all witchcraft. I could break down the witchcraft for you and show you the fake signs and wonders. I've been doing it for years. Some people just say I'm crazy until it happens. It's different between a soothsayer and a prophet. See, because a prophet's not going to be wrong because they're listening to Jesus. They're listening to God very closely before they speak. Sometimes I have word vomit. I'm working on it. That's why I'm so repentant. I'm sorry. Sometimes I add my own spin on things. I'll add more than what God said. I'll say, but I think this is my opinion. And then I got to take that out because I'm not trying to mess that up. When I say God, please do not think I'm saying the fake Jesus from the picture, which we know is not God. Let's talk spirit. Let's leave any graven images out. Let's leave all perception out except what you feel internally in your soul. That God, come from there. Now, I'm not saying you're God, but we house the Holy Spirit. So that gives you a form of godliness because God's righteousness is imputed upon us and so forth. So stay there because in these times you really don't want to be left lacking. You don't want to, hello, good morning.
Good morning.
You don't want to be asleep during this. So the real ID, past the Freudian ego, past the Masonic programming, above demon time, I'm struggling. I got off point a tiny bit. I was talking about how the personalities can change. Some like say you have a friend and one day they're one way, or even a family member. One day they have this personality, the next they have that, the next they have that. You come to see the cycle of their personalities and you know when to talk to that person or when not to based on what they're doing. See, me, I'm learning the balance of it, of wholeness. I don't want to say duality. I want the wholeness of it all, the deliverance of it all, the deliverance of false programming and belief systems. That's my goal and my focus. I respect. I respect Alexyss for speaking the truth. Me personally, I want to share the healing side of it, not the entertainment side of it where people are making money off of it. I don't want people to come to me asking me to read their cards. I'm not a soothsayer. Those are not of God. I'm a prophet. It's a big difference. See, a soothsayer has to go to the spirits, the lower spirits, to get that information. So I'm not judging her. She says she's delivered of all that, but I beg to differ. Plus, I know some of the people she still talks to. See, and God says you have to separate yourself from that. If you say that you're not participating in that, that means you don't hang around people who are still doing the same thing. That's all I'm going to say on that, because I'm going to mind my business. My path is narrow. I'm staying in my lane. But hopefully they'll maybe take a look at this and say, shit, you know what? She's telling the truth with that. That's a hard knock. Hurts my spirit. Because change is hard. It's hard to change. Fuck. But then they feel it and they're like, you're right, you're right. And maybe they'll make a little bit of an adjustment and get rid of some of those people. You can't be delivered and then go back to the same crowd that you're talking about. Can't do it. You have to choose a side. See, me, I'm happy for the original covenant. Thank God. Hey, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, but anyway, healing is what I want to focus on. I see I kind of got trolled a little bit in the chat. I did make one comment I removed because of the timing of it. It looked like it went with something else because I'm in the chat, and sometimes people can't tell if I'm talking to the chat or if I'm talking to the Wu-Tang and KP. So I'm trying to balance that because sometimes shit gets lost in translation. And since I'm in the car and I'm trying to type and shit, and then I start getting mad because I'm like, damn, I just got called out for something. And then I had to think about it. I'm like, okay, well, is it truthful? Is it what? And I'm like, well, I'm actually in the car. There's people right here. There's stuff going on. So, but I do agree. I do have some passive-aggressive ways, and I'm working on them. It wasn't, because they had made a comment saying something about it might have been fear, and I just needed to get over that part. And I don't think that this person, Joe, meant bad, but they were off, and it was making me angry because it was like, that's not what's happening here. But they're a cool person. But I'm sorry, there's all kinds of people here, so I'm like, what's going on? And there's music and stuff. But it was a moment where, shit, I got distracted because all the people, they look like they're having fun. I want to join other people. Friends. I want those. I want more friends, like real ones, you know? I'm kind of a loner because of all the things I've gone through. It's easier to stay alone than be around people that you know are not shit. And I don't mean, I'm not trying to judge people, but you know how it is. And growing up around entertainers and politicians and all that, we see a lot firsthand. Like at my old school, when I was in school, we used to have snipers on our roof because the presidents would come to our schools. So they'd always have like Secret Service and security and stuff up in Oak Grove. But what do I know? Anyway, my goal is not to be a soothsayer and make money and talk on talk shows about my experiences and then sell merchandise. I think I remember something about Jesus and being upset at people for doing that, and he turned the tables over and so forth. See, I give freely. I'm not trying to make money off of the abuses that I've gone through. I want to rise above them, and I want healing and deliverance. I think, and I'm not talking bad, please understand, I'm not talking bad about her, because actually to me, she's kind of, in a way, someone I look up to as a hero, in the sense that she is a survivor of ritual abuse, and I have been too. And she is strong, and you could see her fight to come out of it and to rise above it, and her strength and the inner goddess in her. And I don't mean that in a worshipful way. I don't mean that in a, let me not even finish that sentence. But I mean, she's able to articulate and heal from things that I'm still a little bit in some areas suffering through, because I still have a couple small mental blocks of the abuses that have been done to me as a very, 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 very young person. So I look up to her because she gives me strength, because she helps me remember. When she talks about it, it hurts, but it makes me remember what was done to me. So when I watch her, it's like watching a reflection of myself, in that I've gone through the same abuses. Similar, not the exact same, but very similar abuses. Then I look at the reasonings, though, for talking, and I'm not judging her. I don't know what her reasons are. But I'm not going to sell merchandise or be a soothsayer and try to get people to come to me so I could call on the spirits. Now, I believe she means well. I totally think she means well. I don't think she means evil. People kept saying in the chat that she was a witch. Yes, she is. She is a practitioner. I guess technically we all are. If you are speaking the English language, I hate to tell you, you're practicing witchcraft as well. Because the English language, look it up, what it is, where it came from. It's magical spell casting. It's all it is. Just like memes are sigils. See, they're locks. But that's a whole nother subject. See, sometimes people get stuck in these things called tunnels. Stay out of them. Stay woke. Don't be deceived. It's a difference. Like, I even wrote a cipher about the difference between a prophet for monetary gain versus a spiritual person of God. So I believe in her upbringing, because she was brought up probably by witches and warlocks, as was I. And we learned the crafts because we had no other choice. It was what our parents taught us. So she is coming out at her level of the abuse. Don't hold her accountable and call her a witch because of what she was born to. That's not fair. Just because you're in an environment or born to certain things, that doesn't mean that your soul belongs to that. So I admire her. She's came so far. Now, me, I just want to heal. I want to help others to heal in the sense that when I talk and share the things I've been through, I really, really hope, my God, I hope somebody hears me and it helps somehow, some way. You know, because hearing other people who've been through abuses has helped me. And I want to do the same. The problem is for us who speak out, the more of us who speak out, the more problems and targeting we have. Being a targeted individual is not easy. It's not. But when you're born into certain things and it's all you know, you just deal with it at the best level or whatever you know how. I don't know, guys. I don't even know fully what I'm trying to share, what my point is. I'm just trying to walk this narrow path and stay straight in these end times. I mean, you do know we ride with the horsemen in the apocalypse, right? KP already says it. Who's he rock with? Death, right? You know, the horsemen. So, if the music is coming out, and if the signs of the times are showing with this fake coronation, and the Luciferon that is inside those lovely end time shots that happen. Because remember the Bible says in the end time about, you know, what happens to the believers, a head is gone. So you're cut off from the source. So, see the tunnel? Don't have tunnel vision. Unless you have tunnel vision in that you're centered in self and in God, and your tunnel is your protective bubble for yourself from the outside world, like some type of armor of God, then yes, I'm with that. But don't have tunnel vision and be blind to the truths and the things that are going on around you. The music you listen to, it's spell casting. Sorry, guys. I could break down the rituals. I could break down the old stars programming. I could break down a lot of that. But here's the thing. Although I could go that route, it's a rabbit hole, really. Because sure, I could sit here and tell you, and you'd be very entertained, all the different MK Ultra programs, how they were done. But does it bring about healing? Because if it doesn't bring about healing, there's no purpose. It is too late in the game. Look around you. You see all the people falling, right? You see people dying. It's chaos. Get your soul right. Get your soul right. Get your pineal gland right. Get your oil. Get your Jordan River on. Get your Jordan River on. Meaning, you know, get that spinal fluid going. Be awake within yourself. Don't be false. Don't hurt others. If you have plans of evil for people, don't do them. Just please don't. Because everything comes to light. Everything. Everything. And what you do right now, you will be held accountable for. Don't do it. Just don't. Just do good. I'm talking to Lucifer. I'm telling Lucifer to repent. I don't know if it works like that, but, you know, God says to warn everybody in the end time. So I'm just warning people, you know. I'm just warning people. You guys, I really, really wish the best for everyone. I'm still working on me. I'm trying to get my soul right. I fuck up. In that, I could be passive aggressive at times. I'm working on that. I really hope that people in my life I'm so thankful to the people in my life because I went through a very, very, very bad depression after my grandfather died, right? Not because, I'll give that story. I took like 4 years off, basically. I lived off of my trust. I went into ministry because God called me at age 40, and I heard it loud and clear. He said he was coming and to follow him. And I literally did. I moved from California, got 2 suitcases, gave up everything, and moved to another state, moved to Florida because I wanted to study with ministry and get my soul right. And I was very, 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 very depressed. So depressed I was homeless. I just stopped functioning. I couldn't cope, and I just shut down. I couldn't kill myself, but I just shut down, right? Went to sleep. And I had people taking me in to cover me during these times because I couldn't physically, I just couldn't do it. My mental spirit, I couldn't do it. I wasn't mentally strong enough. But there have been people who've been kind enough to take me in along the way. I've slept on couches for a while, and I've rented rooms. Just some things. It's just over the past 4 years because processing everything is, I'm learning new ways to cope and process. And I am thankful that I have had people who had helped me get through this. But I'm so sorry because I feel like I've let them down. Because here's the thing, when people help you, you want to do good after. You want to be able to show them that they didn't help you for no reason, that it wasn't in vain, and that it wasn't unappreciated. People took me in and looked out for me, and my demeanor is kind of off, but you could tell that my demeanor is off because something is wrong. It's like, no, she needs help. She's not an asshole. Something is wrong. Because I was one of them abused people with ritual abuse. So coming out of it's hard. It hurts. So I'm like, I just ask sometimes with people, like, have compassion, like, please. And that's why I'm always saying, like, if you see something, please point it out. But don't be a troll. You don't have to post on my messages and call me a bitch and names. I mean, they haven't done that since that one time. But I mean, for real, just be like, hey, man, this issue, this what attitude, just not have it or whatever. I don't know, but I have to work on that too. I can't. I got off track. I'm very thankful to the people who have helped me. I have not shown proper gratitude. I haven't, and I've isolated myself from everybody, and even those who have helped me. And people think I'm an ass or being a bitch, and it's not that. It's that I'm frightened. I'm remembering all the abuses. It causes the triggers of the PTSD. I, for a moment, feel like a victim. I have to catch it and say, no, I'm the head. I'm not the tail. So then I got to go above that and remember that was not me now. That was the old me. I'm here. I'm not down here anymore. As above, so below. So within, so without. Now I'm reaping the benefits, the harvest of what I've planted. Whereas in retrograde right now, for most people, their life is very chaotic. Their emotions are very chaotic because of the alignment with Mercury. And I don't know if you know the star alignments in Hermetics. I am not into soothsaying. I am not into astrology. But God knew the stars and the constellations, as did his angels. He did put them there for markers. So I pay attention. In these end times, I really, really just want to heal. I want to apologize to the people who have helped me and I haven't shown proper gratitude towards. I swear to you, I have it. I just don't know how to express it. I don't know how to do this. And now all of a sudden, all these people are dying, and that's hard. Damn. See, here come the emotions. But people are dying, and it's hard to watch. I am happy in my soul that God has put his grace upon me and that I am reaping a harvest where things are getting better now, Whereas on the outside, you have chaos and turmoil. I now have things starting to come together, and I'm thankful. Because God did say, just mustard seed, right? He said, just, start with that. And eventually, it pops up through that dirt, right? So, man, I'm thankful for Alexyss's video, for her being on the podcast. Unfortunately, I feel bad because I feel there will be extra targeting to people like that who speak up on shows like that. The shows will make a lot of money. It's great for them. But you know what? For us survivors of it, it's not so great. And we don't get paid for it. We get used for it, though, because people would love to know our information and what we've been through. Right? Then they could take that and put it on their shows and make money from it. That sounds like more abuse and use to me. See, someone who's really trying to help you, which I haven't seen, I have seen it in some areas, but I'll walk carefully there. I don't want to, because there's a difference. Some people do in the entertainment industry share, and they mean very well. But then there are those who try to twist it, and they'd rather go to hell. So I'm not trying to be judgmental, but I find it hurtful when, I have people ask me all the time to talk on their shows or to do TV things or other stuff and share my testimony. But I don't want people making profit off of my experiences of abuse. Why should you profit off of my abuse? Why? How does that heal one's soul to the other person? It's generally just financial. So you got to think out your reasons for why you do stuff. See, I want to speak out. I want to be public and talk about how there's interchange possible and how life can be good if you allow it to be. Which is why I love KP, Killer Priest. The name's funny, but I love Killer Priest because he's so real. His soul radiates and he means well. Some people look at it and say, oh, he just knows hermetics. He probably a warlock too. He Mason. He all that. No, I think KP is a person with a kind heart who's trying really hard to, always do the right thing and striving for his best self. And he's trying to help others do the same. So I take this opportunity to be just in the presence of someone who has such an amazing energy. I'm not trying to steal his energy. I'm trying to learn. I'm finishing up my lessons. See, here's the thing for me. When Jesus called me and I left, and this is all verifiable, and people will verify this, I said, when Jesus called me, I was like, oh shit, the Wu-Tang's coming. And everyone's like, what the fuck is the connect? You said Jesus is coming, so the Wu-Tang is going to be here? Yes. Mm-hmm. And everyone's like, what the fuck does that mean? And then they got it. The lessons. Finishing up my life lessons. The Wu-Tang is very much about learning them lessons, right? 360. It's interesting that I used to live at 180. Chambers. Number 10, Visions of the 10th Chamber, Papa Wu. Interesting, isn't it? 180. Like a half, right? Because if you're repentant, you're going from this way. Ta-da! To the new path. Meaning you go the other. All right, everybody. Now that I have talked your ears off, I just want to say have a good one. Healing is possible. Targeting sucks. Sometimes having bodyguards is necessary. I don't know. Secure your own homeland. and your mental dome. Free your mind. Not like in the rest will follow. So I'm not going to sing or none. Okay, anyway. Anyway. You guys, it's been great. It's been real. I am free. I give freely. I love you guys.